This weekend's project's going to be a relatively interesting one, but probably fairly quick to do. I bought this end mill online, I got a really good deal on it, and I've just been egging to play with it, but as you can see, it's just sitting in a corner of my shop, kind of collecting dust on a pallet. So I'd like to build a base for it so I can bring it back up, and then tuck it someplace in the garage where I can work on it. So now, as a lot of you people know, I like to reuse and recycle as much as I can, and I have this base to an old shop crane that I think we can use some parts on it. Specifically, the wheels actually are pretty robust and tough and capable of handling a lot of weight. And I have some other oddities of random metal laying around. We'll probably steal some of this 2x4 tubing here. And then we have some material here on this old ladder rack on my truck that has been cut in half, as you can see, and it's kind of more in my way than anything, so I've been wanting to remove it, and this is a perfect opportunity to get it off the truck and reuse some of this metal. Another little request of mine on this build is to be able to slip some of these storage containers underneath, and I think it's going to work out pretty well because I think these are about 17 inches wide, and the end mill itself is about 17 inches wide, so it shouldn't be a big deal to find some space underneath there to maybe slide these in on some rails or some angle or something, and just get some of these out of my way as well, because in my shop, space is kind of a premium. Now I've chosen to make the tabletop out of some of this 2x4. As you've seen, I had some scrap on the trailer and I have a short piece here. That'll be enough to build the tabletop that we can sit the entire mill on. I am using my Evolution chop saw, so that should make very short work of the miters, and it'll make a nice neat job at cutting all the metal. Now this is going to be our tabletop. After I tack all of this together, I will take a grinder and grind off these old welds from its previous life. We'll smooth it all down, and we'll probably run it through the sandblasting cabinet as well. Then we just got to build the legs and the base, get some wheels on it. Now I've welded the frame together. Again, this is what the mill is going to sit on. We're letting it cool, then we'll take the grinder and knock the welds flush, at least on the top side, because that's where it's going to sit. And then using that old ladder rack that was on the truck, I cut it down and I made 4 pieces of tubing that'll be adequate length for the legs. So what do they say? A good grinder makes the welder you're not, well, I don't know. Even when you grind my welds down, they don't look that great. But you know what? The average millennial will have absolutely no idea how weak these welds really are, but they're going to be good enough for us. Now the bottom of the engine hoist had some heavy duty steel casters. We're going to use those. We kind of got lucky because we already have one set on each end of the bottom of our cabinet, and then I'm just going to unbolt 2 more from the existing frame here, bolt them on the other end, and then weld all of this together, and we might be getting somewhere. I think somewhere towards the beginning of this video I said this will be a relatively quick project. Never use those words apparently, because this is now day 2. It's evening. I'm going to quit. We'll probably continue this project next weekend, so look for part 2. But the frame is done, and I do have the holes drilled on the bottom for the wheels. We'll flip this thing up and we'll put some type of top on it. As you can see, my welds aren't exactly the prettiest, but they're going to be plenty strong. In my defense, I am using an old AC buzz box back here in the corner. I'm not using my Lincoln DC welder, and that makes a little difference because I'm, again, not the best welder in the world, but they'll be fine. And I think a little paint on this after we grind everything down and smooth it down is going to look fantastic. And I also don't want to forget to put the dividers in the top so I can slide my storage dividers vertically in that as well. So kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. It's a small garage. I need all the storage and space I can get. So anyhow, there's going to be a video too. Hopefully next weekend we finish this up and we get the end mill sitting on top of it. So like and subscribe. Take a look at some of my other projects and you might find something you yourself might want to build.